Over the course of the last year and a half, Russia has become this central dominant issue in American politics. I'm curious how the Russian government and how Russians see that.
We absolutely sure that this is a part of domestic political games which your politicians are playing. Unfortunately, they choose Russia as like, I don't know, a demon. We have this obvious feeling and understanding. It's both a feeling and understanding that it's a sort of demonization of Russia because of different purposes. We are proposing communication and relationship, and we are always refused, and we're always demonized within last years.
You had the president yesterday tweeting about the fact that...
That was your president. In your eyes, this is a guy who was elected by Russia, but actually that was a person who was elected by American people.
He's the president of the United States. So yesterday he sent a tweet. Did you say thank God?
Yeah, thanks God.
Why is that?
That he's American president.
Why? Why? I mean, you just expressed some gratitude to the Almighty for the fact that Donald Trump's president. I'm just curious why you say that.
Because you admit the fact that he's an American president, because we're talking so much in Russian so-called involvement in your elections, and each time I'm very, very pleased to hear that somebody is admitting that President Trump is the president of United States of America.
Right. The president seems to be saying that the level of hostility and tension right now is at Cold War levels.
Just let us stop compare with Cold War period.
Okay.
There is no use. We can just, I think, agree together with this description that the
things are tense.
Yes, things are tense.
Things are tense.
And it's not good at all, and it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous.
If the United States launches airstrikes on Syria and its elected government right now, how do you imagine that will play out? If that happens in the coming days, Russia is prepared to do what in that circumstance?
Russia will protect its own people on the ground.
If there are airstrikes and there are Russian casualties, Russia will do what?
Russia will protect its own people on the ground.
But retaliation is not impossible.
I just answered your question, and I hope that that won't happen.
So in the course of the time that President Trump ran for office and became president, until 4 days ago, he had never criticized Vladimir Putin publicly once. He's not only criticizing him now, he's saying these very harsh, bellicose things. What do you think happened? He never criticized Putin?
Why are you asking me?
Well, I ask you what your interpretation is.
It's not fair to ask me about that.
Right.
The American society was talking over all the situation with Trump, Russia, Clinton, and so on and so on for more than 1 year. And now, when you have no answers, what's going on? You're asking us?
Yes. Well,
it's not fair.
I'm asking you if you have a theory about what's happening because it affects your country, and you're in the foreign
American
ministry.
Experts and politicians have so many theories about Russia and Russian involvement. They should have some theory about what is going on in White House.
So one of the things that President Trump tweeted, if Russia's goal was to create discord, disruption, and chaos in the United States, they succeeded beyond their wildest dreams. They are laughing their asses off in Moscow. That was what the president said. So, I mean, I've only been in Moscow for a few days. Is President Putin laughing his ass off at the United States right now?
No, I cannot prove it. What is proven?
The president's view seems to be, again, not just in that tweet, but more broadly, the notion that Russia is enjoying watching Americans fighting with each other, divided between rich and poor, divided between black and white, divided between Democrats and Republicans, that the more chaos there is in the United States, that makes people, whether they laugh or not, that is in your strategic interest, and you would like to see that.
What we are trying to say, that America, United States of America, have lots of domestic problems that your administration should be focused on. And Russia has nothing to do with it. This is your domestic entire process.
Yes.
Please don't involve in our domestic cases, in our domestic entire life. Just be focused on your life. You have so many problems, and let us resolve our problems ourselves.
I think that the conventional view in the West, however, is that your president has become more aggressive.
Where did you find aggression from Russian Federation?
Well,
just show me.
I think the answer would be interference in the American election.
Let us.
I mean, these are the things the West would point to, correct?
Let's go step by step.
Right.
What about American elections? How Russia did that?
Well, the entire United States intelligence community believes that they.
No, no, no. How we did this? How?
Well, one way that you did it was to hack into the Democratic National Committee's.
Was it one way, or several?
Well, several. There were several. Yeah, that's
so
what the intelligence community believes.
Let us talk it over.
Right?
Let us talk it step by step. So one way is how we did it. One way is what did we do?
Right. Okay. This would take up most of our time to go through the wasted.
It's not a matter of time. I can talk. I can cancel all my meetings today. Let's be honest with each other. Let's talk it over.
Okay.
Come on.
Let's do it. Cancel all the meetings. We'll bring a bottle of vodka here and we'll go.
No, we do not need vodka for that.
Okay.
We need vodka for other things. Please show me the evidence.
I will say Robert Mueller, who's our special prosecutor, issued a 37-page indictment that named 13 specific Russians who work at the Internet Research Agency, for instance. So that seems pretty documentary to me.
This is it. Absolutely not. Those are just names. What did they do?
Well, it says that in the document. It says what they did. It does, really. In a fair amount of detail, it says those things. The document says, and it says the ways in which they broke the law, or at least it alleges
the Russian government never said or never did something to cover people who were breaking the law.
I was in St. Petersburg just last night, and I was sitting across the table from a young Russian woman who worked in a building where she was surrounded by hundreds of people who worked 24 hours, 7 days a week, not trying to destroy American information systems, but trying to infiltrate the American information systems. And that's a Russian by spreading fake news and propaganda. She was working at the Internet Research Agency, at that organization that against whom the Mueller indictments were issued, where she worked with hundreds of people who were engaged in. I know this.
So she's a crime.
She was someone who was.
Do you have her name?
She was an investigative journalist.
No, come on. Do you have her name? You are talking to the crime.
I'm saying to you.
You are talking to a possible crime.
I'm asking you.
Who were telling you that she's committing a crime, and now I'm asking you, what should we do with this information? Give us the name.
I know this may seem a little strange to you, but I'm a journalist. I'm not in the business of law enforcement. I'm not a Russian, so none of those things are relevant to me. What's relevant to me is the question, a very simple question, which is, are there or are there not hundreds or thousands of Russian trolls sending fake news onto social media networks like Facebook and Twitter? Is that true or not?
I have no idea about thousands or 100,000s of trolls who are trying to destroy American information system.